Welcome to Game 6 of Trap vs. TY, this best of 9 series. If you're on YouTube and this is a new video, then welcome. We basically split this into 2 parts. But if this is still the same video, then we didn't split into 2 parts. I was undecided as to whether we were going to split into 2 parts or not. I can't make that decision until I know how long the video is. So, casting this live, figured I'd just kind of preemptively say maybe we'll split into 2 parts. So if this is a brand new video, welcome back. You've missed part 1 if you didn't know already. That's already up on the channel, and this is part 2 of this best of 9 series. So, kicking this off, in the top left-hand side, our red Protoss player is Trap. He leads 3-2, in case you just joined and didn't already know, meaning that he is ahead of the blue Terran in the bottom right-hand side, TY. So, game number 6 of this on Nightshade. If you obviously are tuning in on the YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. You know, people love to say it, smash that like button and all the good stuff. It actually, there's a reason, guys. It actually makes a difference. It really does. It takes you guys a couple of seconds. So if you really do like the content, give it a like. Consider subscribing to the channel. It helps so much. Helps boost these videos, helps more people see them. If we do better, we get to put out more awesome content for you guys as well. So do check that out. So yeah, obviously, let's see how this game 6 goes. The first 5 maps so far is a bit of a recap, I suppose, just in case this is split into 2 parts. Also good to have a recap in general anyways. TY's had some successful proxies into some good aggression. TY has had a defense against a Tempest Rush on Purity and Industry, and that's where his 2 games wins come from. Basically a big lead off a Proxy Rax Reaper and a big lead, and basically just winning the game against the Tempests. And then Trap has won a bunch of games where he's been able to be, well, successful against one proxy into good counter-aggression. And just in general has been able to take some good fights. There was a game where he got very greedy with a couple of storms against, or with double upgrades against the 3CC style of TY. And then TY trying to fight just couldn't find good enough fights, so Trap ended up overwhelming him. All the games so far been around that kind of 10-ish minute marker, a little bit shorter than that. Yet to really see like a good back and forth, yet to really see a good back and forth kind of long game between these guys. I think the game that we had on Everdream was pretty good. I think that was game 3 maybe, where it was that was a bit of back and forth and some good fights and so on. And TY hitting some good EMPs, and that was the one where in the end the upgrades I think from Trap really carried him through to victory and really helped him to just continue pushing forwards. So kind of interested what exactly happens in this kind of on a map like Nightshade. Do we continue to get those 10-minute map games? Nightshade, funnily enough, while in TVZ it's the sort of map where the Terran gets aggressive and stays aggressive, in TVP it's the kind of map where the 3rd and 4th base are fairly easily come by. It's very difficult to attack into these bases, and it's actually one of the maps which I think actually in TVP goes into longer games a lot of the time, because neither player really wants to attack into each other, and there's a lot of ramps and choke points in the center that makes you have to stop from, have to stop your attacks and refrain from attacking. And the middle of the map, as that is going to save the Reaper. Nicely done by TY. Very rare you see that Reaper connection that well placed. So yeah, a lot of the chokes and the way the middle of the map is laid out makes this a very interesting map for kind of longer games, and really can help those games to stall out sometimes. Now, this is just a crazy build in general from TY as Trap comes into Scout. 3 racks, Engineering Bay, super fast stim, super fast bio, and will not be playing that extremely typical 1-1-1 of IREX Factory Starport. So, yeah, kind of crazy, actually. That is kind of crazy as we see this Reaper gets taken down by a couple of sentries and a couple of stalkers out the front. Yeah, really intrigued. I mean, obviously this means that TY can get very aggressive very quickly in this game. It in a different way to usual, though, like straight up aggression rather than like kind of the harassment we see with like Widow Mine drops, a Hellion run by that you usually see, or like a Liberator. This is just straight up number of units, and for Trap here, this is very important, I think, to really make sure he has the unit count that he needs. And I kind of agree with the idea of adding an extra gateway. I love the Immortal very quickly off the Robo as well, and really invest in Chrono Boost into that, because those are the sort of decisions I think for Trap right here that are going to keep him safe and alive, rather than him just getting stimmed into and rolled over. As you do see the bio out this right-hand side. So coming up this right side, combat shield is well underway as well. That'll be finishing shortly with the +1 armor upgrade on the engineering bay. And this robo bay up on the top side about halfway done. We do see the bio units of TY continuing across. I mean, kills off the third attempt of a third base, I guess. The third doesn't actually start just yet. TY scans just to check where the army is, A, and B, what the army looks like. And I think he looks at that and says, well, I can't really attack into it, but I can definitely keep you off a third base. And of course, I think Trap realized that too initially. That's why he didn't take the typical 4-minute third that you typically go for. So already Trap making adjustments to the build based on what's happening here. We'll try and take the third base again now. Definitely feels like he's got the numbers of units, the tech up to help defend that. And he actually went into the Robo Bay pretty quickly, so already making his way to that Colossus. Obviously, once you get a Colossus up, holding off these bio pushes from certain angles can become much easier for you. So keeping our eyes out for that as this bio army gathers up between the natural and the third base. Both these command centers build, and he's actually gone for... That's crazy. He built a third CC in the main, then he built a third CC in position. TY, it feels like maybe he derped and forgot, but, well, maybe it's just going to be mega economy TY. Maybe he just slipped up his macro bit and had the extra minerals, so he just decided to go for it. That's obviously pretty wild, but, well, it may very well just work out here. He's already up in workers, so as TY, you know, as far as TY is concerned, TY is in a position where he's like, okay, well, yeah, I've got a worker lead against a Protoss player. The Protoss player generally wants the worker lead because they're meant to be playing against the mules, and that hurts. And this is going to be like, what, like quad mules? So we're going to have so much mineral income. Obviously, TY sacrifices a bit of army for this, but I think it's going to kind of work out because I think Trap is kind of afraid to make a larger push happen in the near future anyways. Yeah, he's going to be on 4 orbital command centers, so 4 orbitals at 7 minutes is extremely early. And again, big boost to the economy coming in from that over the next little while as Trap goes out the left-hand side, exits with those stalkers. Colossi and the rest coming across. So maybe as charge finishes, Trap thinks about being aggressive. I mean, he does have extended thermal lance. He has 2 Colossi. It's that sort of stage where it's like maybe you can do something simply because there's not really anything to deal with the Colossus. But yeah, I mean, a tank up now. First Vikings coming in. I don't think it's super... I don't think Trap's going to do too much here. I don't think he's going to catch TY super off guard. Of course, you've got this defensive position as well, right? So you're able to sit in the middle of the bases. You're able to wait for this Protoss army to push up a ramp or through a choke point. SCVs are already pulling. Well, I mean, you can give up SCVs here as well if you need to, because you've got 4 bases to rebuild them off of. So tank goes down very quickly. I am a little bit worried about the bio kind of tucked into the corner here and about the splash damage from the Colossus. You see already 1 Colossus goes down. Tank on the right-hand side does siege. The rest of these SCVs are going to pull into this fight. As the Marauders continue forward, it looks as though he's just trying to get onto the Colossus. He doesn't quite make it there. 26 SCV is dead already for TY. And this is where maybe that extra command center maybe should have been barracks number 4 and 5 already. And maybe having just a few more units to help push through this, because now TY loses a lot of workers. Trap is looking to keep on pressing in. I'm not sure if he's already just done enough and should back away though. I scan across the map, and TY is going to see that Trap never really made that many probes for the third base, and he's going to be a little bit upset at that. Of course, it does mean that Trap's economy is not out of control. Probably one of the reasons TY stays in the game. As the Colossus already working their way toward the bunker. Stalker and a couple of Zealots go down. Vikings chasing the Warp Prism out of there as well, so the Prism gets pushed back. With the concussive shells now finishing. Marine still coming up, +2 attack on the way up as well. TY will hold on. Upgrade lead. 20 workers down, but, well, 4 mules at a time. 4 SCVs at a time will catch up that worker count pretty quickly as well, but does need to start that at some point, because right now it's just sitting back and not really doing anything about the worker count. Is only building 1 SCV, which is obviously a little bit strange. Missile turret comes out to the front. I'm just gonna see if a few stalkers are able to just keep this coverage for the moment. 1 tank already sieging, the other tank to the left side. Hallucination picked off pretty quickly here by the Vikings and the Marines, so that will fall. And we do have Trap making his way out through into the middle of the map, so through the center, out down to the bottom side, a High Templar warping in, Immortal and the armor upgrade being brought into this also as a couple of extra Vikings coming through. The siege tank will finish up. I'm just going to see our Marines stemming forwards. We'll pick off the Zealot. And again, TY's army just sitting tight across between the natural and the third base. Vikings, Marines, Marauders, and tanks all joined up together here as we do see this Colossus going to hallucinate and start pressing forwards. A Marine already gets taken down. These Vikings come into this. The hallucination falls. I actually think this is okay for TY. He's going to get the Colossus right away. I don't think the Archons can really make a play up this ramp. And, well, Storm on the way now starting, so that'll be up eventually here. But yeah, there's going to be another dead Colossus. And now you just got Archons, and I think into these choke points, into those tanks. Very difficult to make that work. These few Stalkers kind of commit themselves quite far. They can blink back across the rocks. And we'll actually even bring the army back in, thinking about if there's any possibility to take a fight there. The Templar being added on the Forge onto the natural expansion. And that Ghost Academy about to finish from TY in the natural as well, so Ghost Academy about to be done. There's a fourth Nexus out in the front, a few High Templars and Zealots. Into the middle of the map, our Hallucination still moving around, and yeah, +2 armor finishing. So now 2-2 against 1-1. The extra Ghosts on the way in, the Bio Army splitting backwards, and the Marines able to jump in to kill off a hallucinated Phoenix. Trap just continuing through the center of this here as the Zealots gonna go down, pick off these rocks. Feels like Trap is consistently just on the map. I mean, TY now getting the Ghosts out, and that is obviously a necessity. Well, TY is not really too afraid of if Trap attacks into him, though, even with those High Templars having the Storms. Because if Trap's attacking in, A, the tanks, but B, also these upgrades are really a big deal. Being down an entire set of upgrades as the Protoss player doesn't happen very often. TY now actually moves that 4th CC into a mining position. Nice feedbacks there, though. That's really nice. Takes 2 Ghosts basically out of the game before they do anything. And there was only 3 Ghosts made, so now there's only 1 Ghost left. It's a massive feedback as the Prism makes her way into the main. Very low HP left on the Prism. The Vikings will come and clean it up. Obviously, a serious amount of bio sent back to deal with the Zealots warped in. Maybe this is the opportunity for Trap to come in and fight this, as a couple of Zealots going to get turned around. The rest of these here already jumping in on this. Ghost Academy will be able to clean that out, so Ghost Academy falls. And the rest from TY still pressing forwards. A lot of Marines, Marauders, and tanks joined up between the natural and the third base, the third base and the 4th base at the moment. Still waiting for Trap to just overcommit a little bit too much. Both of them are going to end up being maxed out here fairly soon, though. Both of them are going to be maxed out here fairly soon. As the Bio comes forward, the Zealot goes down. This Marauder chasing in, the High Templar continues to back away. The Immortals get hit by EMPs. We're missing enhanced shockwaves again here from TY. You forgot it in one of the earlier games he got up to Ghost on. I believe it was on Everdream. He's not going to get it again now. I wonder if he just doesn't feel like he needs it yet, or what the idea is there, but generally it's a good upgrade to have. I mean, it just straight up means your EMPs are hitting more every single time you fire your EMPs out. Solid coming through, and that will get blown up in the end. On the top side, some Liberators are denying mining on the 3rd base, so having some success as the Zealots move in towards the 3rd base of the Terran player. We'll lose a few SCVs. He takes a little while to clean out, but he will get there. And the Zealots will now fall as TY. As across the map, it's been all about Trap being the aggressor so far. Always been on the front line, always looking to be the one attacking into the Terran. Now it's the Terran attacking into the Protoss, and he finds 2 Zealots and an Archon as they split up badly on the bottom side. That first EMP hits just 2 Zealots. More EMPs really needed here, and actually will give good coverage. An Archon down. Zealots running up the front. Obviously now we've also had 2 upgrades finished up from Trap, and he's been able to take a better fight in that regard. So that helps too as the storm continues, and the Vikings in the sky really just don't have much to do at all. The storm's really making a big difference here as you're out of EMPs. And this bio army so heavily stinned, blinking forwards, cleaning out Vikings. And there's a couple of disruptors already came into play, and the Vikings now go down. Trap says, cool, your Vikings are gone. Time for me to rebuild Colossus. Now that your threat in the air is gone, now your way to deal with Colossi is dead. Now I can actually build Colossi, and I can set up from there. And that's obviously big, right? Because now it's a splash damage unit coming back in the game. That trap, that TY story is not really prepared to deal with. Does kill both the Disruptors with the tank fire. Good targeting. So the Disruptor's not able to do much there. The tank's still kind of holding on and being MVPs in this fight. As with the SCV pull and the bio coming forwards, TY will just about have enough to push Trap back over to the left-hand side. Well, two more Liberators building in the main base. A couple of these upgrades still coming through. And as Trap leaves, he is up a handful of workers, a fifth base trying to start getting underway. TY going to go and load up and try and drop a little bit, of course. We've seen a pretty passive TY all game long, like a couple of Liberators here and there. But otherwise, in terms of drops, etc., it's been very inactive. Very much so kind of under the control of the Protoss sitting outside of his base and threatening a fight at any given moment. Now our bio unloading on the top, and as Trap gets ready to push again, it's not a bad time for it to show up and go. I mean, you can kill a Robo here right away. I mean, that would be a fantastic start, if nothing else. So yeah, Robo looks as though it will go down. Liberator is up from TY defensively at home. We'll unpower the Robo with the pylon kill. There's going to be a few Zealots warping in. He's just going to go for the Nexus. He should get the Nexus. The Zealots should not be able to kill that quickly. So this base goes down. TY with the good snipe. Trap is looking for damage across the map himself. If he loses a base, he'd generally want to take a base for it. Will he be able to as the army presses into this location here? Looks like he very well might. These bio units still fighting, although Medevac's out of energy, so not much else they can do. As it's a good storm, it's a good set of storms. He does lose some of the High Templar. The Disruptors went down as well. It was good targeting by TY, but I think he's just lost too much overall. Too many SCVs because Zealots on the third are cleaning up anything that was mining there still. So now the fourth base not mining, third base not mining, all the SCVs gone, 16 left in the game. And TY does not have the numbers to hold on against this, and Trap is going to win the Scrappy game number 6 to go up onto match point in this best of 9 series. That was Scrappy, and I think at the start of this game I was saying how we haven't really had a longer game, but that was some good back and forth. And while it was a lot of Trap being on the aggressive side of things, I think it was TY who was in a position where Trap couldn't really fight into. Obviously, got mixed up a little bit, and obviously TY did start to get out on the map, and the end Trap takes those better fights, and the end Trap's able to clean it out, and now he's on match point with what, TY needing to win 3 in a row if he's going to win this. So TY needs to turn up to another level, needs to power up a little bit, otherwise Trap's going to win this out pretty swiftly. And yeah, let's see if TY can mount the comeback going into a game 7 after this quick little transition. His first of 3 potential match points here. In the bottom left-hand side, the red Protoss player is Trap. And looking to seal a deal here on Eternal Empire, the only map we've not seen yet in this series, is it's map number 7. After this, if TY, our Blue Terran, does defend and does win, and forces a game 8, we will start to play some maps that were already played. I don't know how that process works out, or I don't know how that process works necessarily, but we'll just see what maps get played. And, you know, as far as we're concerned, we just cast the games. We don't have to worry about how this was set up or what the rules are and stuff. Rax Proxy comes into the natural, timed beautifully to get the SCV in there just before the Probe Scout off the gateway, so TY back to the proxy and to put on some early pressure in all of this. So that barracks coming down, the probe now making its way out through into the center of the map and towards that upper right-hand side to, well, realize that there's no barracks in the main base, so right from the start there, that's going to be a concern. As Trap comes through and into the natural, is going to move up in toward the main. So yeah, a good little scout around here is just going to be seeing the SCVs mining away. And the probe of Trap coming around. Again, pretty happy to just see a little bit of what's going on here at the moment. Cybernetics core will start up, and the probe is going to come in and see this barracks. So a little bit late now to really do much about it. CV could potentially bunker in the back of the natural as well to really slow down the Nexus at all, or the mining of the Nexus. Especially in the barracks, it's here, it's very hard to then stop units getting into the bunker from the barracks, so it's a possibility. You just go like Reaper into Marines, it means your factory comes up on the other side a little faster, the starport, because you're not spending more gas on the Reapers, and you're still being very effective. As the bunker, he will actually go for a second Reaper though still, so once that mobility, once those grenades. Damage being done, probes taking some hits. Coming down and just seeing the Stalker trying to fight a little bit. Reaper pulling back, is going to jump in the bunker. And the SCV going to jump in there as well. So able to jump into that. The Stargate of Trap going into the main base. And this barrack's going to lift off. Reaper jumps into the bunker again, and well, SCV obviously just sits there and waits. This is obviously a big delay on the natural. Hence why Trap is just building a Stargate first. So something he's already done in this series, building the Stargate earlier than the expansion for some different reasons along the way. It's been an interesting series in that regard. That was a sick play if the Stalker blocks the Reaper from getting into the bunker. Nice movement from the Stalker there. Body blocks the way in. And that was just one Reaper here on this low ground, which is just that much less annoying, that much less damage output to have to worry about. Nexus will begin. Don't need a shield battery here because I think you clean this up way before the probes really need to start mining from the natural, so you can save yourself a shield battery. The warp gate is going to be finishing up on the Cybernetics core momentarily. Twilight Council drops in the back of the main. Oracle Chrono boosting on the Stargate, and that's a grenade hitting the probe off to the side. Stalker will continue to chase down this Reaper up into the main base. As we do have our command center on the natural is, well, will be soon to the natural as natural CC is about to complete. So TY, the Cyclone already up, so defensively against the Oracle should be okay here. He did die to Oracles once already in this series when he had Cyclones defensively. But this time the two Cyclones are done. It's just one Oracle and now into a Phoenix. And part of that is probably because of the way that Trap sets up compared to earlier when he did that. It was more of a dedicated setup for that sort of build. So as this Trap adapt shades forwards, he'll be moving in. TY actually starts to wall the low ground, bringing this Rex back and a bunker up there. Obviously a CC will move down shortly. Cyclone's in the two positions he's expecting air units to come in from. What can Trap do on the ground as he adds 2 extra gateways and actually goes into an extra Oracle? So that means some pressure onto the bunker. Obviously these Marines are going to pop out of the barracks straight into the bunker, so he's going to have 2 in here right away. Orbital command will land, and the 2 Cyclones are just going to position themselves so they can respond to the main or natural as needed. It's that time where if 2 Oracles show up and your Cyclones are separated like they were on Zen, then you just kind of lose the Cyclones. As this is a lock onto the Phoenix, that's really nice. Doesn't have the kill, but a lot of damage done. I kind of like the idea of Phoenix. You could maybe lift up a Cyclone, then dive in with the Oracle, but I think overall it's not really going to work out here. One Oracle damage output just isn't really enough anyways, even if you're, if one Cyclone locks on still, right? It's just not going to do what you need it to. As we do have the siege tank is going to be coming up in the main base, so first tank finishing from TY is now going to bring his racks back into the main, I imagine, because either he wants to take over a tech lab or he wants to start building a reactor. Either way, obviously, add-ons belong in the main base. They don't belong in part of this wall-off. It's way too risky. You can't move the add-ons, so then it's, they can get in the way when you're trying to move out. TvP is not typically a matchup where you always want to be walling off, so, having that tech lab there forever is probably just going to mess up your units and reinforcements and stuff like that somewhere along the way. Vikings and the Raven coming down. Just going to be seeing the Oracles and the Phoenix of Trap moving to the upper right. Banshee is about to get that cloak finished, or cloak going, so some further aggression from TY here as well. I wonder if he wants to play mech from this. I know there's an engineering bay building. TY is not afraid of playing mech on Eternal Empire. I say it especially because Special's been playing mech on Eternal Empire lately, and I wonder if he's taken that from TY. 2 factories dropped down. Yeah, I think with the Banshees this late is kind of a big tell in this as well, right? Where the Banshees are so late and starting up, and he's still like, oh yeah, this is fine. He'll probably go continued Banshee production, maybe even Hyperflight Rotas here. Stays the sword out up the top. A few Stalkers warping in, and an army here from Trap that can press forwards very soon. Cyclones and tanks coming across over the side. The 2 supply depots already dropping. Oracle comes in, hits a Revelation on the 2 tanks and the few Marines. So sees what he's fighting into. Of course, Eternal Empire can absolutely be a map where you can overwhelm with Stalkers and Zealots, etc. There's going to be, I mean, honestly, a decent amount of anti-air here. The couple of auto turrets dropped to defend. I don't think he lost much. A Phoenix and Oracle versus a Cyclone. Yeah, there's that Hyperflight Rotas, so those Banshees are going to be very mobile, very active on the map. A lot of pressure coming in from them. Well, meanwhile, Trap actually doesn't even have charge yet. He's just going into Blink, so these units here are really not scary at the moment. Not against this many siege tanks. Obviously, the Twilight not coming up right away this game because it was a Stargate initially, so yeah, not really in the craziest positions there. As he does see the Banshees, he sees the cloak, and obviously at this point Trap knows it's mech, so I think Blink's very important. Obviously, you take some more aggressive fights. I think that, you know, the Twilight upgrades are important, but I tell you what, because they're late, I think you're going to really miss any opportunity to bust this mech army. You know, there's always timings usually for Protoss players to say, oh, okay, well, you know, getting into this game, you're playing mech, I could actually kill you at like the 8-9 minute marker with just like a ton of units. And I think that's very true, but now he doesn't have the upgrades to kill TY. And so now he's going to have to play a longer game against TY from the start. I'll tell you what, these guys have played some awesome TvP mech games in the last few months. I think back when you think about WSG qualifiers, Trap vs TY was one of the first matches in those that I casted. And they played an epic mech versus Protoss game on Eternal Empire then. Kind of crazy that Eternal Empire's been in the map pool that long, really, I guess. Oh, well, I mean, a few Marines and a Cyclone in the center. The Hyperflight Road is going to be done soon. Infernal Pre-Igniter dropping down. And the Cyclone upgrade, the Magfield Accelerator, all of that coming into play. Of course, TY will not be looking to get too aggressive until a lot of those upgrades are done. Until then, just secure his bases, maybe move out to a 4th base, and then maybe start looking towards what he might be able to do with this army. Phoenix and that Oracle still patrolling out over on the left side. Now War Prism will be flying up to the top as well. 2 Banshees making their way over, and the couple of Oracles and the Phoenix from Trap into the center of the map. Nice Oracle catch there with the Revelation. Banshees getting caught right away, and they're going to move back up to the top side as the Phoenix will be able to grab one Banshee. Second Banshee. It's going to go down. So 2 Banshees killed off here already as tanks will siege. Hellions, Cyclones coming across this left side, going to pick off this pylon. Pylon will go down as this command center is going to move into position, going to take that 4th base. Oracles and the Phoenix here continuing to set up as our Stalkers. Continuing out into the middle. Magfield about to finish up now from TY. Oracles will get a couple of the SCVs on missile turrets there, and we've seen the Cyclone lock on, pushing the Oracle back. A lot of Stalkers up on the top side, as we do have. Yeah, I mean, it kind of feels like Trap's at this point where it's like, I kind of want to go and fight, but I don't know if he really can go and fight this. I think it's too far gone to really just take straight up fights like this. I feel like you need, at this point, TY to move out on the map, and then you need to come in from multiple angles to really get that flank to really spread out the siege tank damage. Whereas right now, you're kind of sitting in a position where it's like, well, you know, if I fight into this, I'm just fighting headfirst into everything, Planetary Fortress included. Maybe around the other side's not a bad idea, you know, pressure towards the natural, but, well, Hellions and Cyclones come over this way. Obviously, those Hellions have that blue flame to help out. A few Cyclones getting lifted by the Phoenix, and they will go down without much to say about it. The Stalkers take a blink into this as well. Continue to chase down this Hellion Cyclone force, pushing it away to the top side. Our Robo Facility and our Forge continuing in. As you do see the Prism loading up these handful of Zealots. Smart servos continuing up. The 2 extra factories in the main. It's going to be, what, like 7 factories in total? So lots of production. A lot of production available for TY. Rebuilding very easily. off the back of all this. Drops down in 5th base as well. Stalkers blink up this ramp. Gets an SCV or so. Supply Depot's taking some damage. The Banshee's hanging around overhead, and still seeing Trap come down this bottom side. Fleet Beacon is on the way from Trap 2, so getting that underway, and just seeing that Storm 2-2 upgrades. All of that continuing in as the extended Thermal Lance. Researching on the Robo Bay. And again, the army of Trap, Zealot, Stalker, Archon. Well, it's going to move around the center here. TY has a push down the bottom, though. So this is where these units need to make a decision. They can absolutely base trade if they want to. Storm's not done, so these High Templar are useless. These High Templar, the best thing they can do is morph into Archons, which is going to make them stationary and obviously very simple targets to pick up if anything wants to actually try and target them down. They're actually going to kill the Raven. Wow. Raven gets an anti-armor missile off at least. The Stalker army decided to come back home and to go for the flank, but I actually think it comes in way too late here because the army on the bottom left side was already dying pretty quickly. Yeah, a couple of Cyclones kiting away. There's still a lot of Immortals left too. Trap comes out of this ahead on supply, but you've got to remember the Mech army rebuilds a little bit slower than the Protoss army will. So the supply coming out of a fight isn't necessarily the best thing to look at, because as long as TY can get back and defend for, you know, the next little push, he doesn't die to like a follow-up attack in the next, like, you know, immediately within his first round of reinforcements, then he does have the money to rebuild a bit here because he's been playing good, right? And the resources lost is in his favor, so he has to rebuild less overall. Even if, you know, more recently Trap has taken a bit of an income lead, he will lose the 5th base. I think that's fine. The Banshee fleet is going to go across the map. They're going to be able to re-deny this base. And what else, actually? I mean, maybe even find all these High Templar that are flying around. We're going to see some Zealots just warped in. They aren't going to help. High Templars 1, 2 go down already. Hey, that's very painful. As now these, what, a Stalker or two? Okay, a few Stalkers recalled back home. With the Immortals. Obviously, the Immortals don't exactly help out much there. The Stalker's going to blink in from the center as well. And Banshees trade out one Banshee for a Stalker. But it's nice because it pulls Trap away. And it gives TY time to remax, and that's exactly what he's done. Plus, he killed a few High Templars, so those Banshees have been very effective and efficient, and taking out key units of the Protoss army that Trap would love to be able to keep alive in amongst all of this. And the Cyclones making their way to the bottom then as Trap through the center as Stalkers, Immortals, and Archons pressing forwards. You're going to see this cannon gets taken down to the side, and just going to be seeing these Cyclones are going to get a base. Well, Trap is going to commit to the fight. Saying there's a lot of Cyclones across the map. This should be my fight. The Banshees, though, are just going, you know, free reign over this. I mean, the Stalker's just not in position. They will kill off the Planetary Fortress, sure, but obviously this comes at a time when you're losing bases of your own. So not only are you losing these bases, you're also losing the fight, really, because the Banshees were just sat there killing off Immortals. And, well, now all these Stalkers go down. These Cyclones are not done just yet, and they will get rid of Robos. I think just block onto this Nexus and kill that off, too. Shut down the economy here from Trap, who's going to type out... ... not a GG. He's lost 22 probes in the last few moments. I think he's a little bit shocked as to how much these Cyclones are able to get done as they continue to kill Stalker after Stalker. And Trap is going to get the reverse ... from TY. Mech is king! TY declares that Mech is king now. Well, especially on Eternal Empire. It is Mech's Empire. I was just going to be seeing our Zealots charging through, Stalkers and Archons trying to come into this. High Templar storming away on the tanks. That's going to be GG. There's obviously not enough here from Trap after the way the rest of this is gone. I love this quote, by the way, with a little translation. Trap says, "It's strong." Well, yeah, it's strong, but TY kind of needs to do strong things to beat you. You are kind of 4-2 up in the series, I guess now 4-3 up. Nice for TY to take another map here. Means that we will get... Well, at this point, every map that TY wins is one more map that we get to watch. So, you know, if you're not cheering for TY to at least get us to 9 games, then I'm disappointed. But game number... Map 8 will be Nightshade. So this is the first map that we're replaying. Obviously 7 maps in the ladder map pool, the official ladder map pool. And usually we don't really see much more than best of 7s. So when you get to best of 9s, you do have to start replaying some maps. So I'm not sure what the system is for picking these. But alas, here you go. we go back to Nightshade. So, at the bottom right, our red Protoss player is Trap, taking on the top left blue Terran TY. Now, of course, this was the map we actually just saw game number 7 on not so long ago. Was it game 7? I think it was actually game 6, right? We just saw game 7. Game number 6. It was one of the longer ones where TY just couldn't quite hold off Trap throughout the game. I mean, Trap seemed to always have that map control, right? And he was always on the, front of TY's bases, and then eventually just won out enough fights to win the game. So we'll see how this one goes. It was a longer map previously. Well, this one's going to start with Proxy Barracks. So it might not be that long, but as always, I will say at the start that 2 racks is always something you can transition away from. This is a very early scout here from Trap, straight across and straight in. The thing is here as well, you see no racks, but you also see how how late the gas is in comparison to usual. And so that means it's not racks gas, right? In general here, I think Trap should be able to make a bit of a read that this is probably racks so far. Probe of Trap out in the center. Bunker will drop down from TY on this bottom side. Let's get that bunker down. SCV going to get nibbled by the probe a little bit. Other SCV coming over to try and fight back. A little bit of back and forth here between the players. In the end, we do see the Marine showing up. Is going to push the couple of probes away. So, probe's getting pushed back here, and well, unable to really get to that bunker in the end. Probes and the Zealot off to the side, and a couple of Marines will continue to chase up in towards the main. A couple of Zealots going to come down also, and the Stalker now building from Trap. Getting that Stalker up and running. A couple of shield batteries dropping down. The idea of this bunker, by the way, is if you can get this bunker up, is the SCV is going to go down. This bunker is in range of the high ground bits and pieces, right? So you can actually shoot down a lot. 4 probes already go down. He actually pops out to get 5. He's going to get the Zealot. Marines jump back into this bunker, and well, the barracks here for the high ground vision, so it's working. He's going to get the pylon that would depower the gates. Okay, now the shield battery comes into play. He'll try and salvage. So yeah, it's a very cool idea. It's a very cool play to try and depower the gateway, depower the cyber core. Still costs you a lot here as Trap, right? He still hasn't expanded, lost 5 probes in all of this. And well, only 2 Marines actually went down so far. And back at home, TY, bunker on the high ground, CC stone, factory is already done building a tech lab to get that Cyclone up. There's no tech on the field here from Trap. It's just a gate, it's just a cyber core, and that is everything that we are sitting on here at the moment. So that's everything we've got right now, is these couple of Stalkers pressing forwards and picking away at the barracks. We'll have our probe patrolling around in the main base. Obviously, this will finally get cleaned up, but just trying to pick up as much info as it can. I don't think there's anything really Trap can do to counterattack, not with a bunker up on the high ground and a Cyclone about to be done. You know, this attack worked in terms of keeping these units back for long enough. I mean, killing the Zealot is nice. It takes a lot of the juicy tankiness out of the first few units of the game. So, yeah, I don't think there's much you can really do there. Trap does go Robo, and that's going to be on the back of the expansion, yes, but the Robo facility in itself, that robotics is, well, it gives you a few options. It gives you that observer play just to see what's up throughout the game. You can go into a warp prism and get very aggressive. There's a lot of layers of how all in you can be off a Robo facility, right? I mean, you can warp in like pure gateway units for like 5 minutes or so trying to kill your opponent. But you can also just take a prism and go across the map with like a few Stalkers, a couple of Adepts, and just try and poke and prod at mineral lines. It seems, if anything, that would be what this would be if a prism comes up. An observer first into the Twilight and the Forge means that this game plans to go on for a little while. Maybe, just maybe, afraid of the, potential of like Banshees and so on as a follow-up, so just wants to make sure Cloak and so on is out nice and quickly. 2 new barracks already starting up, so we're going to be up to 3 racks very quickly here, as it is a Banshee but no Cloak, so it's just a defensive Banshee. You build this one Banshee, has good damage output, it can be repaired, and you can actually deal a lot of damage if needed with this. So, of course, if then you don't need it defensively, it can still move across the map, it can still go for some probe kills. And that obviously happens a fair amount of the time as this Banshee pops. The Raven now building on the starport, and the factory setting up in the main base as well. +1 armor coming in on the Forge, and the Banshee is just flying through the top side of this here. Flying past that Observer. This Observer moves in towards the main base. A few of these Marines continuing up. Tank, Raven. All of that continuing to build. Our Banshee around this right-hand side is, well, obviously going to struggle to get too much done. But maybe the Cyclone can give it a distraction. Moves in, gets a lock-on to just a warping in Zealot. That lock-on doesn't last forever. And the first Banshee just gets pushed back. So no real issue there. But again, it's not a huge commitment from TY. He's not looking towards this being a, a big thing. As he actually picks off the Observer with the Raven. That's nice. And just now going to start setting up into Stimpack, Combat Shields, and then the Medivacs. So I don't imagine he's going to push here, even with the 2 siege tanks. I think, the timing... No, is the timing a bit too late? I think so. There's no third base to push anyways, right? It's not like there's an early third here from Trap. If there was, then maybe I could get behind these units moving out. But as it stands, I think you just wait for the Stim, the Combat Shields, the Medivacs, all of that to come through. And I think that'll be a very important part of this. And the Mortal comes through, shoots down that Cyclone. That gets taken down pretty much right away as the Hallucination is up in the main. Marines and a Raven from TY out the front. Hallucination. It's gonna go down. Fades away. That's our Storm upgrade coming in here. Trap gonna start chrono boosting that. Banshee TY out on the bottom side. There's the bio from TY moving back up in the main. Gonna see a couple more Medivacs gonna be out here in a few moments. The Stim, the Combat Shields, all of that coming through. Here comes our Warp Prism out to the top as well. The Banshee still moving through the center, and just seeing this Observer looking to get back across. Obviously, Trap currently a bit visionless as to what's going on. Well, TY takes a third CC, and Trap's just going to start making his way towards Storm already. Still 2 bases, by the way. Trap really took a long time before moving up to base number 3 here, so has been very afraid, very tech-heavy, which is usually done with Colossus. The problem with going tech-heavy with Storm on 2 bases is that it's very hit and miss. If those Storms don't connect, then you're in a lot of trouble. Whereas if you build Colossus, right, like the Colossus will connect. And protecting a Colossus is more reliable than, making sure you're guaranteeing you hit those Storms. So 2 base Storm's a bit scary, and these Medivac's going to load up and look to drop in the natural, perhaps. Yeah, Mortal, couple Stalkers and Zealots already warping in. Don't think it's really enough right away, but then these High Templar are here. First Storm goes down. Honestly, I don't even mind this for TY, who has all the turrets in the main base dealing some good damage, picks off all of the shield battery energy, and very nearly gets the shield battery on top. Yeah, I don't mind it because these Marines, I mean, they should really go and unload, but it was just 1 Storm and they were saved. And if those Marines get saved, now that 1 Storm is essentially, if they get healed up again, the Storm didn't really achieve much. Like, yes, you pushed it back, but now that's 1 less Storm for a larger fight in a moment or two. That might not actually happen here, I suppose. Bio unloading down to the bottom side. Zealots, Archons, Immortals, and the 2 High Templar. All of this joining up from Trap on the south as 2 more Medivacs will come down the left as well. Bio starts to stem forwards. The High Templars, 1 Storm available on this 3rd base. Widowmine will hit a fresh Zealot. That's nice. It's always nice when the Widowmine hits the Zealot that's full of HP rather than the one your Bio is just about to get the final shot on. Nice Widowmine there is... Well, going to try and drop back in the natural. He's actually going to come and drop straight on top of the High Templar, I imagine, and just get rid of those. What do you do? Well, nothing. He didn't even have Storm ready. It just became available as they died. It's a great little time to drop. And all of a sudden here, as Trap, you're playing, well, 4 High Templar, but they just can't be everywhere they need to be. This Medivac duo has made it out, and now you've got 4 Medivacs heading to the main base. A single High Templar and a handful of Zealots there, but... likely to be a lot of damage taken as, okay, the rest of the High Templar are coming into this main. Well, they really do need to hit these Storms. There's not much else to really protect. First Storm is good. Some Marines running forwards, and High Templar are actually going to storm themselves because Marines are on top. He misses a Storm because the High Templar goes down. Bio gets rid of a couple more Zealots. 8 probes have fallen already, and this is really adding up, especially with the losses of the High Templar, because the more you rally across against the High Templar now, the more trouble Trap's going to be in, because the more he's going to struggle to find time to build High Templar, get them the energy that they need. As TY comes running into this 3rd base, Archon goes down, Zealot as well. Pylon drops, and that's actually going to be a cancel here. This Nexus taking some more damage. Widowmine will line up, hits the Immortals, does a lot of damage as well. Zealots are still running into this. I mean, a few SCVs going down across the map as the Warp Prison comes in, but this Bioforce is just going to overwhelm, and Trap types out GG. TY is going to take us to a game number 9. Okay. TY taking us to an ace match here in a best of 9 series. It's not every day that this happens, everyone. Especially when he was 2-4 down. I honestly had not really given up hope, but I didn't think he was going to pull it back to the ace match, honestly. I thought he maybe takes some map and then Trap closes out, because Trap has looked good in this series. The last 3 maps, TY, or last 2 maps, I suppose. I can't do math today, can I? I really can't. No, last 2 maps, TY has looked very good, actually, right? The 2 longer games that we've just seen. It's been good. Even on Nightshade, I kind of liked how he was playing, even though he ended up losing that one. All right. Game number 9 coming up in a few moments' time. The ace match of TY and Trap's best of 9. Well, it's always great to get to an ace match, and this one has made it there. In the top right-hand side, our red Protoss player from Janae Green Wings, it is Trap. Was once at a 4-2 lead in this series. Now, he has one final chance to win the final map he needs to win this show match out. In the bottom left-hand side, our blue Terran, it is TY. And what a comeback it's been from him, because it's been 2 pretty great games from him, like really fully controlled games. Never really looked like he was any danger at all. I actually feel like this series has taken a bit of a turn in general. It feels like it turned from a lot of, not shorter games, but like a lot of games ending in the mid-game to some games now that are going on a little bit longer. Let's just hope for a good one here on Zen, whoever you're cheering for. I think we can all be just happy and content that it's been a very good day of games, if nothing else here. So it's it's been a lot of fun, huh? It's been a lot of fun. I'm just going to be seeing the couple of racks building up here from TY. So he's going to go in base 2 racks. This is already a little bit of a mind game. And this is especially a mind game when you look at this probe scout. It's going to come across. He's going to go up. He's going to be like, a wall off? And he's like, well, you've actually built this wall off just so it links it, just to make sure I can't get in here. So immediately as Trap, you've got to wonder, well, what is going on? Hi, says TY is Trap. I don't know what the B really stands for. But, yeah, TY is just like, hey, what you worried about? Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Did you see the first Reaper about to pop, and the second one obviously not too far behind it. Trap moves his probe away to make sure it doesn't get killed off too quickly. So you have the Reaper out around the left-hand side, going to come back in, is going to start catching this probe. Probe taking quite a few shots of damage, will fall. So probe goes down as the next 2 Reapers finish. How many Reapers do you build here as TY, I guess, is the question. Guess second Rax finishes up. Reaper gonna be done. Yeah, he's gonna keep building Reapers. I kind of thought with maybe 3 or so you kind of get going across the map, but apparently he's just gonna sit back here and wait as his command center comes online. Reapers out into the center, and you're just gonna be seeing the Adept. I'll continue shade into the middle as well. Twilight Council's about halfway done. He calls the Adept back home as the Reapers continue across. See what these Reapers can do. Probe's already pulling up to the high ground here, so Trap is being very cautious about this as, well, Reapers up to the high ground, but yeah, Adept's and the Stalker. A little bit too much, so Reapers just get out of there. So not a lot gained just yet. 4 Reapers up, and it's going to be 5 and then add-ons. So Reactor over here. He's going to build a tech lab. Not a fan of the tech lab in the wall. Feels like this add-on would have been a better tech lab, but Reactor does build slower, so it makes more sense to start the Reactor sooner. As we do have the Reapers pressing forwards now, so just looking for a little bit of damage. Not really finding anything at all just yet. Of course, Trap kind of, took some precautions against this. He's building a lot of units early game, so investing resources there where he might be otherwise investing them elsewhere usually. An SCV on the top side to proxy a starport or back. Yeah, I mean starport, right? Or fact. Sorry, he doesn't even have a factory yet. That's what I was trying to think about in my head. He does kill one of these stalkers now. So that's 2 stalkers dead actually in this game with 1 Reaper down. Very close to getting another. Nice grenades as well, zoning the Adept and the Stalker out. Shield battery's going to come down, but now that's the second probe kill in TY. We're starting to get some damage here. Gets another Stalker, and that's huge. Nice grenades. The Adept is going to shade. The Reapers, do they have a grenade to time out against this? He's going to lose 1 more Reaper here, and he will maybe even lose another. He's going to go, okay, he's just going to commit for the Adept, and then he will get away from the Stalker. Grenade is brilliantly placed. I mean, just trading out against a lot of units. And of course, behind this, you've got 3 racks. So you've got very early unit production. You can see already he went for combat shields. The idea here from TY is to push very early with the combat shields. And Trap has lost a lot of his units, so he doesn't have a lot up defensively to really help him out against this. So this can absolutely be pretty dangerous. TY coming up this right side of this. Bio army coming in. Just going to be seeing a couple of sentries setting up. 2 Reapers of TY into the main. Going to go for a grenade. Pops the probes over the other side. And just going to see the Stalker coming through. He's able to pick off 1 Reaper. But the main attack is down over here. I like this from TY. Not diving too far in. I mean, there's damage to be done at the front. Kill a pylon. Slow trap down in that, in that direction to begin with, for example. Couple of pylons coming up to the side as the army of TY backs away. And the +1 attack upgrade is now starting up on the engineering bay as well. So getting that +1 attack upgrade up and running. This third CC will start. I really like this from TY because now he's forced a response and he's kept his units alive, so he's going to have an even larger bioforce in the future. Forge, Robo Bay continue to build in the main base here from Traps. Again, that set up at the moment. These few Stalkers just hanging around in the natural expansion. A few sentries joined up as well. Third Nexus of Trap out to the right-hand side. We'll drop a pylon as well. Obviously, this is really nice because TY is able to expand faster than Trap is, and it's not very often you see that from the Terran's point of view, so it definitely feels as though TY's build is working here. Getting them into a strong position. That's the thing about TY. His builds are very tricky, they're very, they're a little bit quirky, and it makes it very difficult to know exactly when you should be timing certain things out as the Protoss player. And right now, you're down, you're only ahead like 5 workers. You're later on the 3rd base. It definitely feels like as the Protoss, you're not quite in the best of positions. Obviously, the Reapers did pretty well trading out units early, and that forced a lot of units to be reproduced. Maybe took some chrono away from probes, and maybe it wasn't constant probe production because of that. There's a lot of reasons that this could have, come out by this. Single Marine in the front gets taken down. The Marauder getting pushed back. Stemming forwards here, the Stalker's getting pushed away, and the Zealots and the Sentries joining back together. TY just backing off once again, a scan onto the 3rd, just confirming what's up, and he actually sees the gas is starting. So it is going to be a good sign for him that Trap is teching up behind this. He's not just, building masses of units. There's that Colossus that's already popped out, so there's the first one. No extended thermal lance coming into play, though. And yeah, he's going for 1 Colossus fake out. I don't think TY has actually realized it's a Colossus, right? So the 1 Colossus fake out doesn't work very well if you don't actually fake your opponent out. It's Temple Archives and Storm now. The idea being maybe you can force an overreaction of Vikings, etc. But in this case, there's no reaction at all because you just don't know about it. The Libs will give good coverage against it. I mean, the Libs probably just going to be used for harassment at the moment anyways, though. More so than anything else. The Bio Army of TY coming out up to the top. A bit of a fight already breaking out here. Nice couple of force fields there. A little bit worried for Trap because TY seems to be kind of collapsing around the top side. Just as I thought TY was actually starting to get in and on top of that Colossus, he decides to back away. I really felt like he was about to come in from the top and really just get in range and get on top of the Colossus and be able to kill that off. That was, yeah. I mean, that would have been my play as the Terran. I would have been like, yeah, let's kill the Colossus. It's probably why I lose all my units and I lose the game. Liberator Siege is up in the main base already, getting quite a few probe kills here. There's another Liberator Siege up on the natural. Trap is just, well, he's responding to it, but I mean, he didn't pull the probes, and that's obviously bad. Now he's losing probes on the natural as well. He'll kind of catch this army over here, but the Colossus runs up the ramp, so it goes down. Medivacs will load up again, now go into the main. There's a couple Stalkers here. This Liberator on the natural got 10 kills. 20 probes down so far, and the Stalkers in the main base in trouble. The recall of the army to the natural, mostly so he can get up into the main base and deny this drop. He's going to lose the Temple Archives, and TY seeing the setup is going to start building in towards his own Ghost Academy, getting set to go into a defense with the Ghosts against the High Templar. 2-2 starts up as well from TY, who currently is already fighting with the armor upgrade lead. Big storms do come in across this Bioforce, but way too late. And TY has done some major damage here as Trap. Is he going to go from the 2-4 to the, well, 4-5 loss? That's crazy. Especially when the first games he was playing so well. He was doing everything right. It really felt like he was making this series his own. And now TY just turning it around as these Zealots come charging in. And we've seen a few Stalkers pressing forwards. The Bio coming through. A couple Sentries and High Templar coming forwards as well. A couple Force Fields dropping down. We'll get a High Templar killed off already. These Zealots still in a bit of trouble. Still trying to press forwards here. Trap. This Bioforce still wanting to fight. The Warp Prism warps in a few extra Stalkers. I mean, this Bioforce is wanting to fight for good reason, I guess. He's kind of happy to take this engagement. That's a nice storm. And actually, that's a nice follow-up. Storms that start in the center of the army, so then you pull back and it hits more of the army. EMP's now dropping as the SCVs come into this. A few probes going down across the map. We'll check in on that harassment in a moment or two because this fight's very important. The Archon goes down. The Stalkers blink away. TY will hold on. Widowmine grabs the Stalker as they try to leave. The Warp isn't going to warp in more units. Not sure if it was just a Liberator or so that killed those probes. Anyways, whatever it was, handled now. As Trap. Still just warping in on this side. He's going to go around the side with the Prism. So maybe just trying to get some Warp Prism harassment. Gonna fly in here. Missile turrets. Wow, I'm just going to type out GG Trap. Comes in the main base, sees the missile turret, sees units. I think he just realizes he is not going to get the damage done that he needs. And TY is going to take it 5-4 in a best of 9. What a, I mean, great best of 9. I'm not always a major fan of best of 9s because sometimes I do think you go up 3-0 or so and the other guy, it's like, it falls apart very quickly, right? But this best of 9 delivered. All 9 maps, crazy, crazy stuff. If you're watching out there on YouTube, thank you so much for watching these videos the last couple of days. I'm pretty sure these are going to be split into 2. If not, then this was a mega video. So thanks so much for watching. Of course, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. And of course, have a great day. Thanks for watching WardiTV. And I'll see you guys next time, aka tomorrow,